Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin, and as of this recording, 827 Suns subscribers to Suns Latest on Fan Arts. Thank you so much. Thank you for commenting. It's the best part of this podcast, whatever you want to call this. No quote today. We got to move right to it because there's a whole lot of news around the NBA, and I'm not going to be the guy that talks only about the rest of the league. I want to focus on the Suns, but it's early in the season, and there's a ton of injuries, including Lakers' Luka Doncic missed the last two games with a right quad contusion. Laker guard Gabe Vincent out 2 to 4 weeks with a sprained left ankle. I think Lakers center Jackson Hayes is also out, and LeBron is still out. Pacers signed two-time NBA dunk champ Max McClung to his first standard contract. He had been two-wayed and in Exhibit 9 and Exhibit 10 with the Sixers and a bunch of teams. This is his first standard contract, and you gotta love a guy like Max McClung who's hanging in there. He's won the dunk contest a few times. Multi-year deal. They are waiving former second overall pick James Wiseman, and that is a real bummer because he looked like he had all the tools but just could not get going. McClung has been on two-way since 2021, so good and bad. Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, former U of A player, and Obi Toppin are all listed as day-to-day for the Pacers, who've been blindsided by injuries. Minnesota Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards is going to miss 2 weeks with a right hamstring strain. But Sixers rookie VJ Edgecombe is running over the Eastern Conference. Philly looks good at 3-0 with minimum playing time from Joel Embiid. He's a perfect complement to Tyrese Maxey. Remember Edgecombe in Summer League? He ran over everybody. Remember Edgecombe in the preseason? He ran over everybody. Right now, he is looking like the best rookie over Cooper Flagg, number 1 overall pick. Cooper has been uneven, but you can see how good he's going to be. But he had a minor shoulder injury, which kept him on the bench during crunch time, and a Monday loss to OKC. He should be good to go for the Pacers and their game against the. He should be good against the Pacers, and they play tonight. Make no mistake, Cooper Flagg is going to be a great player. He might not be all-world, but he's going to be like one of those guys that's an all-star like 7 or 8 times. Probably he could even be better, but they kind of have him out of position playing point guard. They're waiting for Kyrie Irving to get back. I don't feel bad for the Mavs. I'm just saying that's just the deal. Really quick, I failed to mention that Colin Gillespie had 13 assists against Utah. It was his career high. He did it off the bench. His shooting will improve. I also still think, as good as Mark Williams has looked off the bench in limited minutes, I'm not on board with Oso starting at center. So I like him, and I said it many times, but I think Oso is more of a finesse power forward style or a point center. I think we'd be better off right now until we feel comfortable starting Mark Williams 100% with Nick Richards. Nick is different. Nick looks different. A couple of you mentioned it in the comments. He just looks like a different guy this year. He's more aggressive. He's blocking more shots. Oso had 1 rebound in 13 minutes as the starter against the finesse-style Jazz. Nick had 10 rebounds, half of them offensive, and 3 blocks in 15 minutes off the bench. I can't figure out why Oso keeps getting the start. You know what? Sometimes there's things that we're never going to know that the office and the coaching staff and the team has just decided to do. There might be a reason for it. It might be to pick up extra minutes and just keep Nick and Mark off the bench. So I don't know. I can't figure it out. Suns allowed 28 offensive rebounds, and Markkanen had a career-high 51. Don't know why they didn't put Malawach in, getting into Markkanen's face. I mean, nothing else was working. It was very strange. Book looks strong this season. He'll need to be very strong for the whole season if we want to even remain remotely competitive. We need Jalen Green's offense in a bad way. We trailed. We're doing this a lot. We trailed by 20 in the first, 12 in the fourth, and we still almost won in overtime. Do not rip on this young team that is having a lot of growing pains, like we all said and we all talked about. Also, I do not know what's happening with Nigel Hayes-Davis. He is, according to a few of you, including Curious Mind 2525, who has summed up the early part of the season playing his way out of rotation. I don't know where his head's at. He doesn't look like the guy you thought he was going to be. So far, it's only 4 games. Suns versus Grizzlies tonight. 7 p.m. at Mortgage Matchup Center. I don't know why I can't not laugh when I say that. It just is a silly name to me. This is a home game. Ja Morant slowly regaining form. Grizzlies are 2-2. Just lost to the Warriors, 131 to 118. Golden State's Jonathan Kuminga had 25, 10, and 4. I'm going to keep tabs on Jonathan Kuminga this year. Why? Because it's important to remember that come next month, he's going to be available for a trade. And who knows what can happen, because strange things keep happening in this lovely little NBA league that we have. All right, I'm sorry I didn't have a quote today. I I wanted to move on to it. Steve Postero, the Raja Bell story is a sort of story opinion that keeps me listening every day. Keep it up. Rich, thank you, Steve in Richmond. Are you in Virginia or are you in NorCal, the murder capital of the country the last few years? I'm just curious. I've been to both. Thank you, Steve. Very cool to relive that rivalry between Raja Bell. Excuse me, I think I have to sneeze. No, we're good. And Kobe Bryant. That was the Raja Bell was the subject of the Suns' Legend of the Day, hustler, grinder, gritty guy yesterday. And man, talking about Raja Bell. And I'm telling you, Raja Bell is legendary around Phoenix. Pretty cool stuff. All right, Curious Mind 2525. Hello, sir. So this very loyal Suns latest listener and Sunscriber, one of the first ones, has summed up the beginning of the season. So you make my life a lot easier. I'm going to read every single thing that you wrote. Right now, the Suns are who I thought they would be, an average team at best. It is not time to panic or ditch this team. We will know more the direction we'll go 30 games into the season. Biggest disappointment for me in the Jazz game was the overall poor play of Ryan Dunn. It was his worst game so far. He still shot okay. He's shooting very well, even though he doesn't take a lot of shots. Back to your comment. I thought he would be steadier than he has been. Oso was not much better, but I thought him playing power forward with Richards on the floor has some potential. Mark Williams will be excellent for this team. Richards is what he is, a backup. But he's a good backup. He's like the kind of backup you want. Straight up defensive rebounding. Back to your comment. Happy with Royce and Grayson. Gillespie will get better as he plays more. Agreed. We need to see more of Fleming. Hayes Davis is playing himself out of rotation. We agree on that. Yeah, I think I'd drop Hayes Davis and put Fleming in and see what happens. I'm hoping when Green is ready to play, it will take some of the opposing team focus off the book. Kamen Malawash will need to be brought along gradual. Dillon is playing up to his potential, but he's not a star, just a really good player. Overall, Coach Ott's scheme seems sound. The Suns just don't have the experience yet. Ott is still working on his best matchups for opposing teams, which will take time. I am waiting to see if they improve when they play teams again that they have played already and see how they adapt. Yes, they may not have all the right players to play Ott style, but not much they can do this year about it. Trading off players will probably not get the return they need in improvement unless they trade Booker, but even that will not bring immediate improvement. I want to see Rasheer Fleming. Nigel Hayes Davis is too wily and too smart of a veteran to not be contributing more. I'm never going to get... I don't understand the Oso starting. I like Nick Richards with Oso at power forward. Ryan Dunn, that was his first lapse, and it's going to happen. Remember, it's his second season, and he didn't really have a place last year. You just saw what he did because he's a great athlete. Ryan Dunn has shot very well. He doesn't shoot a lot, but he's going to the hoop. He needs to get rebounds. He needs to have more rebounds. If you want Ryan Dunn to be more effective, then he is going to need to be doing like 6 to 8 rebounds a game. He always plays good defense, but yeah, he needs the whole package. He'll get there. I really do believe that he'll get there. At BW406, bring back the clothesline of Raja Bell. Yes, and we could still use the prime Raja Bell right now. That was a really fun Legend of the Day Hustler edition to do. This was thought up by Sunscriber and watcher and viewer Nevetsov. So we're moving on. It is hard to top Raja Bell as probably the grittiest Suns player of all time. But this guy, who I got to see a lot of, and I talked to a few times, born in Cleveland, Tennessee. Yes, there is a Cleveland, Tennessee. Drafted in the 7th round. The 7th round and 136th overall pick in 1977 by the Suns. You forgot there were more than 2 rounds back in the day. It's so weird to read that. 7th round out of Oral Roberts University. 6'7", 185-pound small forward. Alvin T-Bone Scott played for the Suns and only the Suns his entire NBA career from 77 to 85. Alvin Scott had close to 0 offensive skills. He had a decent-looking jump shot. He just wasn't allowed to take it. He could dunk, he could fly, he could soar, no bag at all, but he finished his career with a 4.9 scoring average. Obviously, that's not why he lasted 8 years in the NBA. He was a demon defensively. Unlimited energy off the bench for Coach McLeod when a smaller power forward needed a heat check. Alvin Scott was not flashy. He was not loud. He was not emotional. He understood his limitations more than anyone, but became as dependable a defender the Suns have ever had, and the Suns made the playoffs. Each year, Alvin Scott was on that team. You need guys like that. Remember when the Lakers had Kurt Rambis in the Showtime starting lineup? You're looking at these 4 All-Stars, or like a guy like Byron Scott who can get you 30 if you need him to, and then Kurt Rambis, complete garbage man. Defensive rebounding, made a dunk when you need him. And the Sixers followed suit, and when they won their title in, 81? 81, 83? Trying to remember. I think it was 83. You had Dr. J, you had Moses Malone, and then you had Mark Ivoroni as the power forward. Garbage man. Sixers did exactly what the Lakers did. They put a guy who didn't need the ball to balance out everybody, and Andrew Toney and Maurice Cheeks, all the other guys who could score. That is what Alvin Scott was for us. We had Westfall, we had Walter Davis, we had Alvin Adams. Then later we had DJ and we had Truck. Alvin Scott played with all of them. And you got all this offensive firepower and guys that are okay defensively. Alvin Scott was 100% a defense-only kind of guy, and you got to have a guy like that. One year I overheard him say at Suns training camp practice, he mentioned the difference between being in shape and then being in playing shape, and it was early in training camp. And they were doing 5-on-5 sprint, and you could just see these guys were just dying. Early training camp is like that, and that is how you get in shape. Really quick, as a triathlete, you want to get into shape, run sprints until you fall down for a few days. By the second or third day, your heart will be like, oh, this is what we're doing. That is what early training camp in the NBA is. Run. Doesn't matter what shape you came into training camp. It's a different kind of shape. And he was talking to Suns center Dennis Autry about that. And it was clear training camp had just begun. Everyone was gassed. But Alvin Scott got a roster spot for a lot longer than anybody thought. Can't believe he was drafted. He was actually a pretty good offensive player in high school and a moderately good offensive player in college. But I'll guarantee you more than anybody's like, I got drafted in the NBA. I'm going to make the most of it. It's nicknamed T-Bone for his skinny frame and long wingspan. Last I checked, Alvin Scott was part of the Scott family Let's Camp's basketball camp, nonprofit alternative, education and skills developing program near his hometown in Southeast Tennessee. He's also an active member of the Phoenix Suns alumni and the NBA Retired Players Association. Alvin T-Bone Scott is your Suns Legend of the Day, Hustler Edition. Let me know what other hustlers you think we need to cover. I've got like a whole list of them, but somebody mentioned when I first started doing this, Alvin Scott is one of those guys that we got to talk about. Not flashy, not a big name, not a big deal, but what you want in a great teammate. Alvin Scott is your hustler of the day. I appreciate you watching Suns Latest. Suns against Grizzlies tonight. Go Suns. We'll talk about it tomorrow.